GeogAtoZ supporting the Geographical Association's National Festival of Fieldwork this June. Today's letter is I for investigate, investigating lights, power and waste, signage, signs, displays and pay points, a real range of different human features of the landscape. This is a 4-day sequence of videos. Yesterday looking at post boxes and delivery, those perhaps old-fashioned communication tools that we have on our streets, telephone boxes, post boxes and perhaps delivery parcel points. Tomorrow is about journeys, which is about traffic, and the following day is about keys. What sorts of things are missed off the map? So investigating lights, power and waste and signage, we need to think about some of the street side furniture that we have, the complexity of that, the different materials that they're made from, whether they're ornate or plain or serve multiple purposes with lots of things linked to them. Sometimes posts that have signs for motorists, signs for walkers and signs for many other things besides. Some of them might have LEDs, some of them might have numbers on them and words as well. We also need to think about the other sorts of things that you might see on your street that might have some suggestion of what they're for. You can see there a GPO connection, so the General Post Office, perhaps when the post office used to be in charge of the telephone system as well. So I suspect that's something to do with telephony. But it's looking at the signs, looking at the symbols, looking at the shapes, looking at the materials, looking at the relative age of these things and trying to work out who are they for, when were they put there, did they used to be gas powered before they were electric powered? Certainly that's the case in some parts of London and major cities as well that got street lights before anybody else. Who are these signposts for? What sorts of purposes do they have? Where were they made? Sometimes older cast iron things actually suggest the sorts of heritage that they have. And what do these different signposts connote? Who are they for? Are they for the fire service? Are they something to do with water? Are they something to do with fire hydrants like this one is? Do you actually understand what this means in terms of the number of meters that the fire hydrant can actually be found? It's worth looking up now if you're not sure. And then, of course, we've got some of the more modern things, some of the internet cabling, some of the copper wiring that might be for the telephony services, some of the CCTV things and the mobile phone masts that we might find in your street. So there's a huge range of different colours and shapes and heights and different services that different people will be in charge of and will monitor and make sure that they are maintained to make sure that the services that we get to our homes and our schools are actually useful and are there for us on a day-to-day basis. Perhaps the most interesting one of all that I notice, particularly in major cities, certainly in parts of urbanised London, even out into the suburbs, is the stink pipe. This is a great example of a stink pipe running through a municipal park where a tree had been planted next to it well over 100 years ago when the park was laid out in southwest London, and the tree's roots are now enveloping this stink pipe. And the stink pipes are for a range of different purposes, but they're sometimes called stack vents, which are above the waste disposal sewerage pipes that handle the grey water and everything that we flush away down the sink or toilet. So worth looking out for these open topped. I've never known them to stink myself, but looking out for these because they are on high streets right through central London and also out into the suburbs and may well be in other major cities as well. But of course, nowadays we have other ways of dealing with these noxious fumes, other ways of collecting these, other ways of helping them escape. But this was the Victorians' idea: just punch a hole in the ground and allow those fumes at a 2 or 3 meter height to escape quite safely. So investigating signs, displays and pay points then, again, a whole range of different images I'm going to share with you of the sorts of signs that you might see. Different shapes, symbols, colours, who put them there, who maintains them, who has a say in all of this. Is it to do with the council? Is it to do with the central government? Is it to do with other agencies or authority? What are they actually advising us to do? Who are they advising? Are they for the general public? Or are they for some sort of municipal worker? Are they helpful for all? Are they helpful for people with disabilities as well? Do they help to tell us about safety or height or distance or scale, or are they just display boards and they just tell us something about a news or an event? Are they suggesting an area of a zone, zones that you must go in or must stay out of? And of course, these again can be on walls, on posts, on display screens, but they need to be explained, understood, and decoded by groups of children. And of course, you'll sometimes see some of them on bus shelters, on posters, on A-boards outside a shop or outside a tourist information centre. But there's a lot of different colours, shapes, numbers, and detail in some of these that just really give a sense of what's going on and who these are for. Sometimes linking, as you can see there in the canal example, to specific historic perspectives that they want you to get a sense of, that are at a reasonable height and an easy angle to display for you to see. And then finally, of course, you've got parking meters and other sorts of opportunities for you to purchase car parking or stamps or other sorts of things that you might see on your way out and about. And you can see an example there, for example, of an actual speaker there, which would tell you to go away or be safe or make sure that you're evacuating the area if necessary. So lots and lots of different examples there of signs, displays and pay points throughout your locality and also further afield. Maybe you look at these before you go and do a field trip to really help you decode what's going on there. And just a final thing to mention to link you into what Ofsted have been saying about the importance of fieldwork over the last couple of years. The importance of looking at street furniture and a street view perspective is that we need to find wherever we're looking at, particularly in the UK, which has been very well mapped and photographed, is that we need to use up-to-date and not out-of-date resources. And certainly the photographs that I've shown today could be examples of that, as well as the data that they hold. So we need to be careful that we are not presenting any simplistic or an inaccurate or an outdated view of a location that you're studying. So if you're using downloadable PowerPoints, if you're using a set of worksheets or even a textbook sometimes, try and get something more up to date. And of course, the best example there is that you can start your adventure by having a look at Google Street View, both in the UK and beyond.